Hello everyone, welcome to StraightA. Dawson here, back with another video here today, and we are doing the Los Angeles Chargers. Yes, not the Los Angeles Rams, Los Angeles Chargers, because I really want to make that distinction. Chargers, not Rams. Why am I making such a big deal of it? Because Los Angeles Rams are next, and teams have the same name, so we're just covering our bases here. I kind of realized that 3 AFC West teams are going in a row, so man, this is like really draining my mood though. No, I'm kidding. But I hope you are ready to talk about the Los Angeles Chargers and how I think they'll do this season. Before we get started, let's leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and comment any suggestions for future videos below. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Starting off, we're going to go ahead and look at the depth chart for the Los Angeles Chargers. Of course, Justin Herbert, good old Herbert, is still the starting quarterback. I love Herbert, I really do. And I was going to give this 4-1 or 2. Everybody knows me as a Broncos fan, all right? I get it, all right? Maybe I'm a little biased to the Raiders. I like the Chiefs enough because I respect them because they're good. Oh, well. But Chargers, genuinely, I actually really do enjoy watching it. And if there's somebody that has to succeed in the division other than my Broncos, the Chargers are them. And Justin Herbert, I know, has had a really up and down career, going from a really high, going a little bit down and regressing, and then just not doing really as well going into this next year, or going into this year. Man, I just don't know. I really want to see him spark again. I really, really do. But man, he lost pretty much all of his targets. Gerald Everett, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, all fucking gone. Like, that's pretty much all of his fucking targets. Every single bit of them. And I just don't know what to think about him. So, I'm going to bank on him being good. How good? I don't know. When he's throwing the fucking, Joshua Palmer as his number one guy. Joshua Palmer's a great receiver as number 2, but like, this team is made full of wide receiver 2s, and wide receiver 3s possibly. DJ Chark, I don't know. He's a possible wide receiver 1, but I just don't know. Either way, Justin Herbert is good. I'm curious how he'll do, but he's good. I'm just curious how well he can elevate the talent around him. That's going to be really the test for Herbert this season. Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, and Kimani Vidal, because I'm going to go ahead and bank on Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins probably not playing the full season because they both are very injury prone at this point in their career. Both good in their own right when they play. J.K. Dobbins, really quick, really elusive. Gus Edwards, really going to punch in the hole into the end zone. Did amazing last year, 13 touchdowns. Fucking crazy. Kimani Vidal will probably be starting a couple games, just again because of the fluctuality of Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins. So it's going to be a 3-back committee. Isaiah Spiller may even get in there. Who knows? As for the wide receivers, we got Joshua Palmer, Quentin Johnson, Ladd McConkey, and DJ Chark as the main 4 receivers that are notable. Everybody else is just, fodder for now. Palmer, he's been pretty reliable for the Chargers in the past. I mean, he's gotten, 500 yards per season, 400 yards per season. Can he elevate to that wide receiver 1 role? We'll have to see. Quentin Johnson, 500 yards last season, really missed the mark on being the number 1 guy for Justin Herbert this season. I just don't think he's going to be elevated to that level. I think there's 3 people ahead of him that I think are better than him, or at least more reliable. So I just don't know how much love he's really going to get this season. I'm sure he'll still play. Going to be curious about that, though. Ladd McConkey. I expected him to do really, really well. I expect him and Joshua Palmer to be pretty similar in yardage. I don't think either one of them are going to be 1,000 yards. I'm just going to go ahead and spill that out right now. There's not going to be a 1,000-yard receiver on this team. DJ Chark is up there, too. He's kind of the wild card for me because it feels like people are counting him out. But he's not bad. He's freaking dang good as a reliable 700-yard guy type guy. Especially when there's he's supporting like a monster guy. DJ Chark is that kind of dude. As long as he's not the number 1 target, he kind of thrives. So I think DJ Chark could also be in that conversation. And we'll talk more about the stats when we get to him. But I like the receivers if these were all wide receiver 2 and 3s, if that makes sense. There's just not a clear wide receiver 1, which makes me worried for who's going to suffer, who's going to pick up. I'm not too sure. Then we got the tight end. We got Hayden Hurst, Will Dissly, and Donald Parham Jr. Will Dissly's the expected starter. Hayden Hurst and Donald Parham Jr. could easily be in that role. I mean, tight end, even with Gerald Everett, who's actually decent, just wasn't good. He wasn't utilized a whole lot in terms of the pass game, and I don't think that will happen for Will Dissly or Hayden Hurst or Donald Parham Jr. And they're going to split work anyway, so don't know. Now, fucking talk about a awesome offensive line. The addition of Joe Alt's going to be so fucking crazy. Rashawn Slater's really good. I like Bradley Bozeman. This could be a really fucking solid O-line. I don't know how it's going to go, though. I really don't. For some reason, there's something in my gut telling me they're not going to be the best O-line this next season. Even though they have all the pieces to be, almost, I won't say Lions level, because Lions level is like elite. They have very, very good potential of being one of the best O-lines. I just got something in my gut that says they're not gonna be the best. They're just gonna be damn good, and that may be because their running game will be better. Their pass blocking, their run blocking is gonna be a lot better. I'm just not too sure. I just got in my gut for some reason. I look at this team and I'm like, okay, what do I really see? And I think it's also gonna be because I don't think any of the wide receivers are gonna get clear very quickly. So the O-line will have to protect for longer, which will put Justin Herbert in a trickier position, which could lead to more sacks. I don't know. That's kind of my gut feeling, though. If you want to say they're the best O-line in the league or one of the best O-lines in the league, like top 5 or at least fringe top 5, 100%, not going to argue with you. But, man, something in my gut tells me they're not going to be quite that good. I think at the defense, and honestly, outside of Joey Bosa, I kind of realized, like, they're good. They're fine. But, like, it's real. Khalil Mack, I guess, is still there. I don't know why I forgot about Khalil Mack. They're fine. They're fine. They're good. They're going to put enough solid pressure on other offensive lines. They're going to be annoying. They're going to be consistent. So I don't really have much to say here. There's a good defensive line dash edge. You get it. Then you got the secondary, and the secondary has not been good in the past couple of years. Despite them having Asante Samuel Jr. and Derwin James Jr., some damn good corners, I'd say. I just don't know how well they're going to pick it up. I think they'll do better than last season. They got like 8, but their coverage will still be all right. I think will be interesting to see how they adapt and kind of progress. I don't think anybody's going to shock the world, but I think they'll do solid enough in coverage. But I don't know if the numbers will be there for interceptions. Either way, Chargers as a team, very fucking excited for it. Last season, if we kind of analyze what the Chargers did last season, Herbert, if he played the full season, was probably on par for just short of 4,000. Maybe he could hit 4,000, but just short of it at the very least. So, I mean, he got 20 passing touchdowns, which, again, playing the full season, he could hit like 26. He's just, again, he's had seasons here. I'm going to jump around here real quick because Justin Herbert has had 4,000-yard seasons, 5,000-yard seasons, and I don't think he played this last season or this late season. No, he did. Yeah, he did. This is rookie season, I believe. He's hit 4,000 yards every season except for this last one. But he had Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and holy shit, does those two help you a ton. Don't necessarily think he'll do as bad as 3,000 yards because I think a good quarterback can elevate his wide receivers to some extent, even if it's not Patrick Mahomes levels. So we'll see how he actually really does. His interceptions and touchdowns will probably be roughly the same, so I'm not going to put too much stock in that. Other than that, we got the rushing game, which, of course, this whole running back room is going to be completely different. Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, completely different vibe, but they're probably going to be at least on par with Austin Eckler from last season. Eckler was not very good. He basically looks. J.K. Dobbins and Eckler have a lot of similarities from last season. Gus Edwards is just a better Joshua Kelly. It's going to be just coming down to injury, who plays for how long. Their touchdowns will be okay. Gus Edwards, I think, will still have a solid red zone threat. He'll still be a very, very formidable threat when it comes to defensive lines blocking him. So I think he's still going to punch his ticket a lot into the end zone, but I don't think it'll be nearly as many as he did last season. J.K. Dobbins will also get a little bit of love, and Justin Herbert will run for a little bit, I guess, but not too much. Then you get the receiving corner. Again, it's so hard to judge. Quentin Johnson got 2 touchdowns and 400 yards. It's not good. Joshua Palmer for 600 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he wasn't the number one guy, so now he's the expected number one guy. That means he'll have more threats on him, so does that mean he gets more yardage and more love, or does that mean he gets freaking bodied down by a bunch of corners? I'm not too sure how well he'll fend, but then you got the addition of DJ Chark and Vlad McConkey. So who will step up? Somebody will step up to some extent, but who is going to be? It's a committee. My money is going to be at Joshua Palmer is still that guy in the number 1 spot, but Vlad McConkey is very tempting to take as a possible boom or bust type guy. DJ Chark will be a reliable number 3 or 2 if Vlad McConkey doesn't go off, and I think Quentin Johnson will kind of fall to the wayside. Or injuries could happen and make this a whole lot easier for the coaching staff. I'm not too sure. Hopefully that doesn't happen, obviously, but we'll see. Then you got tight end, Will Dissly. Like I said, Gerald Everett got 400 yards, and he's actually a pretty decent tight end. How will Dissly do? Not too sure. Probably not very good. It's kind of my whole thought process. It's just that he's not as good as Gerald Everett, so what the hell. Then again, defensive line and interceptions have been around the same number as I'm going to predict, so I'm not going to go heavy into them. All I know is that the defensive line has been damn good. It's probably slightly worse, but probably not by much, just due to old age or getting the higher age. And then their interceptions will be roughly the same. They'll improve though because their secondary's improved, and I think they just got very good potential guys there. So, and maybe I should go by tackles, but I'm going by interceptions. Either way, we'll go into the stats. I think there's a lot to talk about here. The good old Los Angeles Chargers. First of all, go ahead and say Justin Herbert's going to do solid, but I'm holding back from the 4,000-yard season purely because he just doesn't have any weapons. And that's why I think 23 passing touchdowns will be all right, 8 interceptions. They're both a little bit higher, but I think he'll still be consistent and good and reliable. That's what Justin Herbert's going to do next season because I don't think he can really afford to be the big play guy with these guys he currently has. Could someone shock me? Absolutely, but this is where I feel that Justin Herbert's stat line is going to kind of line up. Rushing yards, 250 to 300. Again, he's not a big runner, but he runs a little bit. 2 rushing touchdowns. He got 3 last year. I'll just go predict 1 less. Gus Edwards, again, I think it's a committee, and I just don't think he's going to break 700 or 800 yards. He did last year by like 100 yards or so. Actually, no, not even by 100 yards, like 50 yards or something like that. He's just not that kind of player. He's just the guy who comes in for a few snaps, gets you into that first down, gets you that touchdown, and gets you the stats and gets you the points. So Gus Edwards will probably get 8 touchdowns. It'll be very high, maybe 7 to 9. It's kind of where I was feeling, so 8 was a good number. And he'll probably end up with like 650, 750 rushing yards. I don't think he'll quite reach that threshold of 800 just because I think J.K. Dobbins could eat into that as well as Vimani as well. So the committee could be anything, but Gus Edwards, my guess is just under 800 yards. Then we got the receiving core. And I never really do this, but Ladd McConkey, I'm going to talk about Ladd McConkey first, and DJ Chark. I'm going to talk about both of them. So, again, I think Quentin Johnson will be under 700 yards. However, I believe either DJ Chark or Ladd McConkey will break into the almost 900 spot of yardage. But one of them will surprise, do pretty well, and be a consistent maybe number 1 or 2 guy in the second ladder of the season. I think Joshua Palmer will be consistently in that picture of at least number 1 or 2, but someone could overtake him just purely by potential and explosiveness. So one of them is probably going to come up and do that. I'm not putting it down here because they're not the number 1 or 2 depth chart. And again, that's kind of what I'm basing my stats, my bell curve on. But one of them could easily go into that 900 spot, and I really don't give that to a whole lot of people in terms of I think they're going to do well, and I don't even think they're number 2 on the depth chart. So this is the big say for one of those guys that they will probably be on the stat line of some sort. Now for the touchdowns, I'll go ahead and throw out probably fucking 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns for one of the guys who comes in. The other one will probably get like 2 or 3. Cool. Sounds good. Joshua Palmer, reliable, 5 touchdowns, almost 900 yards. He'll get a little bit more love this year because he's the reliable guy on the team, but it's not nearly enough. Quentin Johnston, he'll probably get like 300 yards and fucking 3 random touchdowns. I don't know. I gave him 3 just because I felt, wanted to feel like I padded out some stats here, but it's probably 2 or 1 more realistically. Will Dissly, again, is going to be around 400, 450 yards, 4 receiving touchdowns because he's a tight end, so he's going to be in the end zone a lot. And that's about it. That's kind of my logic and my saying here, so we'll go with this. O-line, 30 to 40 sacks. So this is the second best tier. Under 30 would be the best tier. I just got a sneaky feeling. They let 43 up through last year, so I think they'll do better. But again, I don't know if I can quite say they're going to get under 30. I have a lot of spots left in the open in the 30 to 40. We're going to go 30 to 40. Sack predictions, again, pretty middle ground here. 44 to 40 sacks, pretty damn good, but also not like spectacular, but also not awful. So go bite me. Interception predictions, I'm going to put them in the second worst tier, 11 to 13 interceptions. Again, they had like 8 the previous season, 11 before that, so they'll probably land a little bit better, at least 11, maybe 12, but I don't see them going over 13, definitely. But I also don't see them going in the single digits. So we'll go 11 to 13 to be safe. Then finally, their opponents and their record. I do have the Chargers being second in this division. I just read a comment for the Raiders that if I thought they were going to do as bad as the Broncos, then I'm crazy. I think they're both going to do like shit. I think Broncos and Raiders, go watch those videos. They're not going to do very well. I think Chargers have very good potential to do well. Because remember, Raiders have a damn tough schedule. Broncos, a little bit easier, but not by much. Chargers, very doable schedule. They have a very winnable schedule. They face a lot of easy teams. And I'm kind of curious how they'll go out. So they'll probably go 2-4 division. I always assume Chiefs sweep. They'll probably split with Raiders and Broncos. Or something along those lines. 2-4. Very, very reasonable. Then we have the Ravens. Bengals, Saints, Bucks, and Titans. And honestly, I was going back and forth with like how many wins they could each get. I'm going to say they get 2 wins in here, 3 losses. Seems like the safest bet. So basically 4-7 at this point. because they probably lose the Ravens and Bengals, but they could probably lose one of these games. Not too sure which, but they could probably win at least 2 of these games as well. 4-7 currently. We got the Browns and Steelers as 2 very tough games, and also you can throw in the Falcons being a tough game. So I'm going to say they split, but they could honestly sneak out a win here. So that puts their record at 7-10. But I think I gave them a lot of discredit in this. That's why I feel so much more confident about putting them to the 7-9 win tier, because they could realistically go 8-9. They could realistically almost reach that 9-8. I don't think they even get close to 10-7, which means I think they're going to be 8 or below. But I also don't see them being 5 losses or less. So 6 I can kind of see, but not as realistically as 7-8. So I'm going to go 7-10 is my official record, but the 8 is definitely doable for the Chargers here. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like down below if you did, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later.